I think this is the year we turn the tide. I've been saying that for a little while. You look even just in the last week and a half, the way the media has started to back away from their previous positions. I mean, it's changing. It's changing fast. I liken it to the bursting of a dam, right? There can be cracks in a dam wall and there can be water leaking out for a very long time and it doesn't fail. But when it fails, it goes. That's going to happen this year. We're going to see that dam burst this year.
Yemini for Rebel News in Melbourne, Australia, where one of the original freedom parties is running their first event in what will be an interesting election year.
We needed a campaign launch, and being that in Victoria we've got these horrific mandates that would mean, a lot of people wouldn't be able to come to an indoor venue, and I thought, what better way to get a like-minded community together.
You guys have been around for 20 years. Have you ever seen such a huge turnout on your first event in an election year?
No.
We need to start having real representation in this country. We're running on duopoly, and enough's enough. So we need to have people who turn around and say, we don't want more government in our lives, we're adults. We can run our own lives. But what we want is the opportunity to grow. So get out of our lives.
Do you think the Liberal Democrats, do you think they support your right to be overly dressed for this event?
Exactly, they support my right to be here with Yemini, to be here with everybody that's coming here to get rid of Daniel Andrews in the next election.
In the last election, were you a member of a political party?
No, I had no interest in politics whatsoever, but now we have to be.
If you had to describe it in one word, what's the reason that you joined the Liberal Democrats?
Freedom.
It's not to be confused with the Liberal Democrats overseas, which are generally known as left-wing parties. The Liberal Democrats in Australia is really a libertarian party that's been around for 20 years, but finally people are now, they're listening to the message. This may be the year of freedom.
We just need people to wake up, I guess, to the power that they have in their vote and what that means in terms of a cultural shift and change politically. And that's not to say that the Lib Dems want to come in and take control, but what we want to see is a greater balance to democracy so that there are more voices heard and that these laws that get passed aren't just rushed through Parliament without consultation, without negotiation and without a proper assessment from a wider cohort of the community, and that's who the Lib Dems are. We're a wider cohort of the community.
If you want a voice for liberty in federal Parliament that you can depend on to actually stick to that, then support the Liberal Democrats.
And why specifically them and not any of the other?
Because they've been consistent with their values since the very beginning. They were speaking out against lockdowns. They were speaking about liberty before it was cool.
We've gone through hell in the last 2 years, but suddenly what you stand for is cool. How does that feel?
Well, mate, I kind of feel like a bit of a nerd. You're in politics. It's a little bit of a strange thing to be in, but, I think that when you become so impassioned about something that really, really matters, and you see that the community can come together and everyone around you does as well, it's a great feeling, and I think everybody can see that change is definitely needed.
We've taken 2 years to get coordinated, to start to get politically active. It's taken us a little while, but we're on our feet now, and we're pushing back. It's a sleeping giant. They've awakened a sleeping giant. That's what this is.
The government actually brought in special legislation, and then once that legislation passed, they tried to use those powers to force us to either change our name or deregister.
Why now? Why have they now taken that fight so far?
Because they scared.
I haven't always agreed with all of their policies. Counter-terrorism, I've always been really strong on that, and that's why I didn't like the Liberal Democrats. I thought they were a bit soft on it. Now I realise, after watching the last 2 years, saying, hold on a second, they've used those laws against their own citizens to crush dissent.
Exactly.
Liberal Democrats were right the whole time.
The whole time. The civil liberties and the civil libertarians, they've been right the whole time. Governments are going to keep creating emergencies to break laws, and they will keep breaking laws because they've got emergencies, and we're seeing it in Canada.
Are you a member of the Liberal Democrats?
I actually am, yeah. I signed up about maybe 2.5 months ago. First time I've been a member of a political party in 20 years. But how could you not? Given where we're at, given how important what's happening right now is, how could you not?
We were formed in 2001. I've been involved since 2013. I think it's like, this is one of those things where we've been defending liberties that whole time, and I think a lot of people maybe didn't notice or didn't care about it, and now they're sort of like, actually we need someone to do that, and we feel like we're the party that was based on that. We were founded on the idea of defending liberty. We've done the same thing all along, and I think more people appreciate that now.
It doesn't matter which Freedom Party you're going to vote for. I got a feeling that this year around the country, both in federal and state elections, we're going to see something very special. You did a video a couple of days ago that's gone quite viral. People are sending it to me from everywhere. How do you beat me, firstly, at a video? No, I'm just... In short, what was your message of that video? What is your message in this election?
Real simple. We don't have to put up with our politics being about the major parties, all right? That isn't some natural order that can't be changed. We can change it. And the preferential voting system actually gives us the power to change it in ways that many other systems don't. We're quite lucky here. But a lot of Australians don't understand that system, and they don't understand how it works. So the video is just saying, hey guys, in the lower house, here's how preferential voting works. And once you understand it, all of a sudden you go, hang on, we can work with this. We can actually achieve some pretty interesting outcomes and knock those big parties off their perch. It's actually far more attainable than I think a lot of people realise.
17 years, I think.
17 years you've been a Liberal Party member, but you're here today.
Yes, I am.
Why?
The trust's gone.
I think that there's a lot of people who are really gravitating towards our party recently. They like the message of freedom. They like the way that we've been defending our freedoms in the state politics, and they want to get people into federal parliament.
This is huge. Like, I started the Geelong branch about 4 years ago. 2 or 3 of us joining up every month, trying to bang the drum, still advocating for the same message that we're advocating now. It's only that people have now hit their tipping point and they're keen to actually say what they feel, and what they feel very much aligns with what we're advocating for.
Is he a good dad? Yeah. He's not like Dan Andrews?
No, not.
What's the difference between Dad and Dan?
Dad, there is room to compromising.
Dad, there's room to compromise. Dan, there's none.
None.
She's onto it.
Yeah, she is.
She's onto it. That's good. Yep.
I never want to hear a tolerant lefty talk about right-wing fascism, because at the moment they're supporting left-wing fascism. And no, I'm not for it.
No fascism is good. Can we agree that no fascism is good?
Exactly, no fascism is good. Wrong is wrong. Doesn't matter if you're left or right, whatever. If it's wrong, it's wrong.
All of our members, when they get elected, they basically have to take a public pledge to never vote for a decrease in liberty or an increase in taxes. And we've all stuck to that.
It's not about having anarchy and no government. It's about really assessing each and every time the government is involved in our lives and making a rationed decision. Well, do they need to be involved to this level for this moment in time? And that's what the Liberal Democrats bring, is that sensible leadership.
For so long we've had the major parties dominating our lives, telling us what to do, what we can say, how we can think, and I think the people have come together and finally realised the government serve the government. It's time for the government to serve the people. They are public servants, and that's what we're bringing here.
Never got into politics at all, always turned a blind eye to it. It was like, it's one or the other anyway, what's the shit's difference?
So why is it different this time?
Because I think the last 2 years has made it really clear how much power they actually have.
Excuse me, mate, you got something on your face.
Oh, whatever got on my face.
It's just a bit of, like... Did you wake up like this in the morning?
Yeah, I did.
There's a lot of people that don't like politicians. Why should they trust you? Why should they trust the Liberal Democrats?
Geez, that's a good question. It's not one I've actually considered an answer for. Why should people trust us? Well, look, I guess if people know my story and they know, what I sacrificed, I hope that gives people a level of trust. I gave up my job. It was my financial safety net. And as a result, I'm selling my car. I'm selling my Palomino that I took to Canberra camping.
No, please don't sell that. That was awesome.
No, I have. It's sold. It's gone. I'm selling my house. I had a job lined up that I was going to walk into, and that's been taken away because of the political stand that I'm taking. So I say to people why trust us is because there's a whole bunch of candidates here that are prepared to make the sacrifices, and they are ultimately prepared to do whatever it takes to see a change to the political landscape.
We have literally a member of our society who was rejected from the institution that she built a career for to protect us, right? She feels now that the way that she can protect us and represent us is no longer through her profession but is through a political party. That's a statement that is profound.
There's politicians there that don't deserve to be there. What have they done for you? When have they stood up for your rights? When was the last time that you could look at a Liberal, Labor or Greens politician, sorry, I can't even say their name without my eyes rolling, and thought, yes, you know, this party is a party that stands for what I care about and they care about the issues that are important to me. And that's ultimately who the Lib Dems are. We care about people, and we care about people being free to live their lives without government intrusion and overreach.
I just say to the people and your listeners that if they want a party that's totally committed to defending individual rights and freedoms, then we do that. We've got a track record on it that's solid. We've been doing it for 20 years. People who've been watching me will know that I've been standing for that. So, you know, if you want someone that's going to do that, you can depend on us to do it.
They've got two sitting senators at the moment, Tim Quilty, David Limbrick, the most outspoken people against Parliament, against St Andrews. You know, they're willing to not go in Parliament, not to work just because of the vaccine, even though they're vaccinated. They don't want to reveal their vaccination status because they believe, you know, in freedom, in your choice to not have the government control your medical choices or to know all your information. So, you know, with these guys, had a chat with them and loving it, man. It's a really good community. Not too many nut jobs around here, but you know, love it.
Except for me.
Except for you, no.
Are you a member of the Liberal Democrats parties?
I am not a member of the Liberal Democrats, no.
So what are you doing here?
I'm in fact looking for PR guy.
Are you PR guy?
I'd like to be PR guy. I don't think I have a higher wage as that, but...
I'm the campaign manager.
You're the campaign manager?
Yep.
So you're the one that's spreading the propaganda?
Yeah, absolutely.
The government doesn't need to control every facet of our lives. It's our responsibility. You know that, I know that, all of these people here know that. We all have a responsibility to looking after ourselves, whether or not that's through our health, our diet, our jobs, our housing arrangements. We don't need to have such regulation of every aspect of our lives, and that's not the Australia that I grew up in, and it's not the Australia that I want to grow old in.
Look, Shane, you look a bit tired.
I'm a little bit tired, yes.
Do you want the freedom to be tired? Is that why you're here?
It doesn't make a difference if we make it or not. We got each other.
There you have it, a man of many talents. Let's see how people react. David Limbrick on the drums or Scott Morrison on the ukulele? What do you say?
I'll take David on the drums any day.
David every day of the week, mate. Every day of the week.
Oh, David every time.
Why is that?
I mean, look at him.
Stop perving. Why are all the girls going so crazy over David?
Because he's a man of heart, he's a man of conviction, he's a man of great values.
And you can't say the same for Scotty from marketing?
Absolutely not.
Hands down, David.
Why is that?
Look at him.
Listen, that's what every girl has said. Why are you looking at him like that? Whether it's your style of music or not, I can tell you one thing, it is far less cringy than Scott Morrison on the ukulele. If you enjoyed this report, make sure to like, comment, and most importantly, share it far and wide. Let people know that there are other options than the major parties. It's up to you to spread the word. We want freedom-loving parties, and especially parties as consistent as the Liberal Democrats, to hold the balance of power. Spread the message and then let people know. If you want to follow what's going to be happening in this election year, sign up to the YeminiReport.com so I can send you the details as it happens, the news, the real news, the other side of the story from here in Melbourne, Australia. YeminiReport.com.